All right. Recording in progress. I'd like to call the March Canadice Town Board meeting to order, please.
Supervisor Vastola,
Here.
Councilman Stat,
Here.
Councilman Gronwell,
Here.
Councilwoman Crowley,
Present.
Councilman Mitchell.
Present. Our CEO, Joe Miller, will lead our pledge this evening. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation,
under God,
visible,
indivisible,
with liberty and
liberty and
justice.
justice for all.
Thank you, Joe. Approval of the last month's minutes.
I will make a motion to approve the February minutes.
Second. Those in favor? Aye. Okay, that carries. Thank you.
I had one question for Eileen. In the paragraph, first paragraph under reports. Did you see that the comma for the dollar value needs to move to the right one spot?
No, but I can change that.
Excellent.
Nice observation. Any other comments?
But
Okay. Like to need a motion to open a public hearing for comments pertaining to septic placement variance.
motion to open the public hearing.
Second, I'll second that. Those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we're now looking at a septic variance request for 5943 County Road 37. And we are now acting as a Board of Health. Were there any questions, concerns?
Well, can you or Joe just in 3 sentences explain what the variance request is for? I had trouble from the plans understanding what that.
Oh, they're replacing it initially, or completely, and it's not 80 feet from the
Property
road or property,
Right.
which, while we're on the topic, has been kind of a push to change that, Bill Grove, you know.
Our town code.
But it meets state code,
State code, the minimum is 10 feet,
so it meets state code.
correct?
Yeah.
It just doesn't meet town code.
Right.
So, okay, I got it. That's all I just wanted to understand.
Okay, so I have a question,
Yes,
and it is regarding the property next to it.
the property on the other side of the road. Are you speaking of?
No, the property that's right next to it. Isn't this
It's right here at the corner.
exactly?
Yep.
And so the property next to it, do we know where their well is? Are
Do
we
you mean,
making?
do you mean behind it? To me, it's behind it.
Or to the south,
Is it?
to the south.
Okay, yeah. Cause I see on here that the well on the property is well located. It's away from where the septic system's gonna be. Where's the well on the property next to it?
That was one of the requests that I had in for the engineer.
Mhm.
There's something going on between the engineer and the homeowner. As far as funds and finances go, so he didn't want to come back out to look for it, so he was requesting that the homeowner figure out where the well is. But I,
Cool.
if I recall, there was something in there, with the neighbors. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure I have.
Does the grade head to the north, if you will?
It
It
heads to
slopes
the,
down?
it heads to the road.
Yes, it heads towards the road.
Yes.
Yep.
That's
there-
okay.
It is okay, and I did ask the engineer for extra information regarding surface water drainage, because there have been complaints and problems in that corner particularly. And I've been in touch with the county with the pipe that goes under the road. So at this point, Jeremy has said that it's not their pipe, and the county has confirmed saying it's not their pipe. So right now I'm at kind of right now I'm at kind of a crossroads of.
It goes under the road?
Yeah, there's, right now that house particularly has gray water drainage and septic drainage that goes right into to the ditch. Okay. Which at the time the house was built was legal.
Right.
So it'll be a significant improvement, but there's a catch there, a catch basin. Of some sort, and it goes under the road and then goes onto the property across the road. And I mean, it goes through the town right of way also and drains onto private property. So I've been trying to find why this happened and fix it, but with no success at this point.
So is this the house on the corner,
Yes,
the blue one?
yes.
So what does the current, is this grandfathered, this situation, is that what it is? What's the current town code say about gray water?
Gray water is not allowed.
Off your
New
property.
construction.
Right.
But this is grandfathered. This is,
Yes,
that's what I was trying to establish.
Yeah. Do you feel comfortable with us okaying this tonight? Cause I don't see Jody Ellen on the Zoom either.
which they, Jody and the resident had said that they were gonna be here.
Interesting.
I feel comfortable with Jody's work. And how they engineer their plans. They're very comparable with road, which we've dealt with before. And I think it will be a significant improvement because they're gonna stop dumping gray water and stuff that we can't regulate into the ditch.
Mhm.
I mean, my only concern would be, the resident, Jody. Not here. Maybe there was some kind of financial troubles, but that. Yeah,
It's not our problem.
yeah, right.
Yeah, I'm all for improvements. It's certainly one that's gonna improve the outflow from that property.
And I don't have any record of what kind of septic is there, right? Because it was
It's,
in place before the laws were written.
right, this is certainly an improvement. Other discussion?
How does Jody feel about all of it?
She, in the beginning of it was a little perturbed because of how I was treating the situation differently than I have in other scenarios where she has done engineering. Which I have the right to. Which they didn't understand at that point, but once I explained it. Then she was on board with it and said that it's a significant improvement from what's there.
I've had experience with it. And she does very good work.
That's good to know. Okay, motion to approve the variance. I move. Second, those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That carries. I will move to close the public hearing and resume our March meeting. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay,
Did we skip recessing the Board of Health? Or did I miss it?
I thought that's what I was trying to do.
Yes.
So it would be all in one motion, closing as the Board of Health and resuming as the town board. So Christopher motioned and who seconded?
I did, Mr. Mitchell.
Mr. Mitchell.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank you.
for that clarity. Did my very best, sir. Privilege of the floor. I did attend the New York State Association of Towns annual meeting. Lots to say about it, good touch points, and any questions, certainly be happy to discuss that. Would I go again? Have to talk about that. I have the privilege of attending NISAC meetings, and the NISAC meetings are, in my opinion, much more professionally organized and well run at a higher level. But there were some good seminars that I went to. One was produced by Steve Ott. Is that, did I get his name right? Jeremy, Steve Ott, is it?
David Orr?
David Orr, that's the one, yes.
Cornell Local Roads?
Yes, yeah, and culverts and just incredible. It was only an hour and I could probably sit in on anything he does, I would go to. So it just depends on the speaker, but it's nice to get that speaker information before you attend, and we don't always get that. So that was just my biggest take on that.
That's the gentleman I think I listened to when I went to the January board members.
Oh,
They were Cornell Roads.
it probably was engineer. Yeah,
Very good.
he's spot on. He's spot on. Had another visit to Mercy Flight Central, been there before. They just got another helicopter. They now have 4 state-of-the-art helicopters. Yep, and it's a really big asset to our county. I can't tell you enough, and the work they do is just incredible. And also, we've got, things going on with the landfill. We had a fissure, a little bit of a landslide, but that's been taken care of, and they say that it's hardly ever happened, but maybe it has. There's a little discussion on that, just to make you aware of that. Again,
Landslide at the landfill.
the
At the
landfill.
landfill.
Yes, so,
Sounds like a garbage slide to me.
yeah, well, when you're taking in hundreds of tons a day.
New York City garbage.
Yeah, yeah. So, again, many of us are talking, we want to close or minimize it when the contract runs out in 2028. It was a 25-year contract signed in 2003, and it's up in 2028. So anyone that wants to get on board with that, the information's there.
And do we have a plan?
We're actually working on one. We've got a workshop coming up.
Good.
Yep. And to look at alternatives. Number 2 is just the Honey School Capital Improvement Plan. The hearing is March 13th. If you have questions, certainly go there. I can tell you this, I think we should be supporting our schools, and my understanding is there's no impact to the tax levy. And the school needs it. There's lots of things that need to be done, and this bill really needs to pass.
Where are they getting the money? There's no impact.
State aid and what they had set up in reserves.
Reserves.
Yeah, my understanding from the presentation
Still paying for it.
they gave that I went to, it'll have no impact on the local tax rate. It is something they get state funding for and their own reserves they've reserved.
Yep.
So my understanding from the superintendent was it would not impact the school tax rate.
That's correct. That's my understanding as well.
And so it's a no-brainer from that.
I echo that sentiment. Yes. I mean,
Poor choice of words, but
yeah, I hate to say that, but I'm in a lot of schools, and we should be wanting to fund our school like other schools are being funded and supported by their communities. Other schools are in way better shape than our school. That's all I can say. Thank you. Speaking of school district, they do have a job fair coming up, and we were able to get a number of employers, including our wheat harvest and including our in the summer, we had a hard time getting lifeguards the past couple of years, so we're going to be there at the school again, Richmond Rec. And we have a number of employers from throughout the county that will be there for the morning of the 14th. And if you know someone that's hiring, you'd probably still get a table set up at no cost to get employees. Employers are trying for employees. Well, here's your chance.
Mhm.
So you got able bodies. That's my privilege of the floor. Anyone else? There'll be a second privilege of the floor. Okay, communications. Straightforward. I did give you a hard copy of some things. Many things are emailed. The reason I do the emails is you can go back and look and say, oh, that's when I got that email. If you need that hard copy or that resource, I just think that's helpful. The biggest one out of that is just to talk about is number 12, the National Grid installing the smart meters. That's another win-win situation. And they want to make darn sure that people know what's going to happen. It's not going to be for a while, but they'll make certain that people are informed. So all that information's there on that link.
Is that one you can opt out of, like this, or like?
No, you can't opt out. No, you want the smart meter.
You do?
Yes,
You're sure?
I'm pretty sure.
So they can shut your power off when they need to. I think it's a real good idea.
Well, RG&E.
They're monitoring.
I
you all the
don't
time.
want it.
I don't want it either. They're monitoring you all the time. They can see you're drawing too much power. Chris?
Okay.
I can tell you the park is already on the smart meters, and so are we. So I think it must have been done some time ago. I agree. When you look at the documentation that is behind it, it says, we'll do everything in our power before we shut you off, but they have the ability.
Ability to shut you off.
Yeah.
At that point.
Yeah. without coming to the house,
The
with
other
no
people
notice.
Without any notice.
no notice.
So if you get rolling blackouts, like, oh, our solar fields aren't producing enough, so you're getting shut down.
Mhm.
That's where battery backups come in handy, huh?
Yeah. It's gonna work
Yeah, if
real
you can
good
afford them.
if you can afford them, but that works real good when it's 20
That
below
won't
out.
be me.
Doesn't that fall under life-saving measures though?
What's that?
So we have one property that I can think of offhand that is. Will be in foreclosure this year where NICEAG still hasn't shut the power off to it because there's no executor to the will of the owner. To give authorization, so all that happens is it just keeps racking up and racking up and racking up as far as the bill goes, because it's categorized under a life-saving.
The resident, yeah, the resident needs the electric for a piece of
Heat,
equipment.
heat or cooling.
Yeah, no,
But I think these smart.
either that or like oxygen,
Sure,
something like
of
that.
course. I think with these smart meters and they install them.
They know,
You are signing and
Yes.
accepting that
yeah.
they have.
And if you have a device at your house, you're actually registered with the electric company. There's a process.
Hmm.
Because it does talk to that
Did
too
you-
in the
Did you sign
documentation.
something?
What?
Did you sign something
I
acknowledging
don't,
that?
I don't have anything. I'm referencing the materials that is on the website that Christopher is referencing.
I just got the letter, maybe Thursday, right before I put. the
Yeah, and you
package in.
sent the link in an email, so I went
Yep.
up and read it.
Yep, yeah. Yep,
So do the occupants? The owners of the property have any say in this?
good question.
I would go up and look. I do believe that you can advise them that you don't want a smart meter. I believe it will cost you money. Go up and look.
Yeah, because the smart meter, they don't have to come out and read. That's the-
come out.
Something like
And
that.
that's a 30
Yeah.
degree
Drive by now.
Right.
Initially. Charge.
Yeah, like waiver. Yeah, now you're talking. Yeah, I was gonna say it's like in the $50 to $70 range. And it might be monthly. Take a look,
What? Oh, yeah.
take a look.
All right, well, thank you. We're going to reports unless there's other further discussion. Okay, I don't know who B is. Who's B? Hi, B.
That is Birch Craig.
Oh, Birch Craig.
Yep.
And just goes by B. Sounds cool. Reports, town clerk.
Paying to the supervisor for the general fund, 1,000, can you hear me okay? Am I loud enough?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Perfect.
$1,612.70. To the supervisor for water billing, $5,072.35. To DEC for decals, $87.90. Animal Population Control Fund, $9, and New York State Department of Health for a marriage license, $22.50, for a total disbursement of $6,804.45. Just an FYI, DEC is going to save more money, and they will be taking away my printer that prints the hunting and fishing licenses on the Valeron paper. And I will just be printing them on regular paper on my printer. So
Interesting.
it'll cost me more money, but it costs them less.
How you get a back tag?
And do you have to put it on colored paper?
No, I mean, I could, but I don't have to. I can
You'll
print it
throw
any
the
way I want.
Paper in your back tag.
So they'll be your back the back tag also, then it's just on a printed.
Everything I print will just be on,
Exactly.
and the instructions I was given said it's up to the hunter or fisher sand to make sure that it stays dry. It's not their responsibility.
Okay, can they come back to you and ask for a duplicate?
Probably. I think that's another reason why they want everybody's email, so you can go in and do it yourself. But
Wow.
we'll see how that goes, because previously if a reprint is done, it's like $5. But that's
Right.
I mean, they still have the option of using one of the holders that I offer that are plastic.
Right.
And most
Cool.
of the back tags have plastic on them too.
Mhm. Mhm.
With a little flap.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Okay.
so that's all I have.
Make a motion to approve the town clerk's report.
I'll second.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That carries, thank you. Story report has been filed once again. Nice to have a report every month. CEO, another nice report, a one pager now. Very nice, lots of detail. Anything to add?
Just want to add a couple things. I don't
Oh,
know if
sure.
I do it here, privilege of the floor, but.
Sure, that's fine.
We did launch our training, for the new program for Cloud. And our launch date is gonna be April 5th to the public. I wanted to get some feedback from the board on a couple of options, on how to take it to the public. I have an idea of what I would like to do, but I wanted to, hear from the board to see what would be acceptable. The cloud permit suggested that we put it on the website and then just launch. But I brought up that a lot of our residents don't necessarily get on the website all the time. It's gonna be hard to get it out to them, so. They did say that other townships sent out postcards, letting people know that once they launch. All new permits will be done through a different program. And this program in particular is an online cloud-based, so it's gonna be done by the residents. Without having to come in to the building. With the option of turning in paper permits that Rich or I will have to put into the system. So it's gonna be, less person to person and more digital based, with the contractor and the resident. So my suggestion would be the postcards, just because of the feedback that we're getting from the SDR postcards that we. So last month I sent out the postcards and right now we have 6 new short-term rentals.
Oh, good.
Applications just
Mhm.
last month. With newer residents that have just purchased properties within the last 2 years, that didn't know about it. So as far as sending out postcards for the new software launch, I wanna know what to do.
This, the software is, I don't know, is this for saying a building permits?
Yes,
Mhm.
for all permits issued through zoning, building, yeah, and that's part.
Planning.
Online based
Planning.
Really?
and planning.
Well, it's not just building. I mean, you replace a furnace, you install a backup power generator, you gotta have a permit. Right?
Yeah.
So that would all go through this system.
Yeah.
So it's just online now, then how do they make payment then?
That's another good question. They Cloud Permit offers a different variety of ways to do payment digitally, credit card, whatever. I wanted to keep that option open, so I did ask for it. But it'll also be checked by mail.
Are they charging a fee then, I presume? Like a
Yes.
2%?
Yes, but there's only, out of the 15 vendors that they offer, there's only 2 that openly charge the fees to the resident. The rest of them do hidden fees to what would be us, the town.
Right, exactly. And yeah, because, okay. So I would be very interested in the list of vendors.
Yeah, and I do have that coming from,
Cause there's new legislation,
Yeah,
New York State legislation that hopefully they're aware of regarding those fees.
well, and there's all kinds of security associated with those vendors
correct.
and with your computer and everything else.
That was one of the reasons that, Rich and I and you guys also decided to go with Cloud Permit because their certificates and credentials were up to date,
Mhm.
is what I'm saying. So any of the privacy laws, they were certified through New York State. So, and the list of vendors that they've worked with. Are licensed through New York State also, so I don't like to use the word assume, but I would.
They are HTTPS secure socket.
Well, regarding the question of postcards or not, I would hardly endorse.
So I have a suggestion. Since the next water billing cycle is coming up, you could save some money by giving me a letter that would go in with the water bills. But Holly would have to figure out for you guys what labels to print out for postcards. You'd have to pay more attention to where they're going,
Oh, so that you don't duplicate the mailing?
right?
And the other thing that you might want to consider is what's referred to as a soft launch, where you wait a period of time, people that find their way to the website, or, people that are interested in technology, they can be your first testers.
Right, that was another option. They did say that we could launch.
You can,
And
and
then we could
Rich
use-
Craig could do that.
yeah, and
Yeah.
like, 30 days later, send the postcards, or 60 days later, send the postcards. What are you gonna do for people that don't have internet access?
Rich and I are gonna input the software, or input the data into our computers.
They still put down good paper.
We
Good.
do now. I mean, we do that now.
Right.
90% of the people that come in for a permit, they don't come in with the correct
Paperwork.
or it filled out properly. So I didn't see that as a huge issue.
Right, you just wanna make it clear on the website that that option is still available.
Right.
And some
Okay.
people are gonna wanna do it themselves, saving a lot of labor.
Yeah.
But certainly there are times they'll be able to still manually.
The only caution with the soft launch I wanna throw out there is that our contract with Williamson Law ends the end of March. So if we do a soft launch, that means, cause their suggestion was to do a soft launch and then do a couple residents, like you can pick and choose like smaller permits to, experiment with.
I'll bet you a quarter that Williamson would extend your contract for 30 days.
We paid them early.
Yeah.
We,
Just saying.
I just have one more comment. Those other vendors that have the hidden fees where we pay it, I wouldn't even consider them. Because
I agree.
we are not supposed to
that's against
pay
the law.
anything out of our funds for fees like that.
Correct.
Right, and that's why he brought it up in our training, and one of the vendors that I can remember, one of the two I can remember offhand is Cube,
Cube,
which is an Apple
correct.
based.
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you for that update. Any other discussion on the update?
So I had a question about the violation letters. I see that there was one issued in January. Has that been taken care of?
No, the hard part about the violation letters is the follow-up with them, so there's 120 days, you got 30 days in between each violation letter, and then 30 days in between each order to remedy, and then I have to issue it against.
Okay. And we did not get any information on the type of violation. Is it like an unsafe building or garbage in the lawn?
Yeah, this violation in particular was a property. maintenance.
Okay,
Thank you.
Aesthetic or safety?
With that,
Aesthetic or safety?
they're a little bit of both, but it's
Planning board did meet. Birch, did you want to give any update from the planning board? Feel free. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Highway
no,
Superintendent Jerry.
here he comes.
Well,
Hi, Bert.
I don't have anything written down, so no comment.
okay. Oh, thank you. Just thought I'd give you an opportunity. I know it was a short meeting. It was about 45 minutes and it went well. They talked a little bit about the comp plan update, which is slowly moving forward. And still looking for people that want to participate. Highway Superintendent Jeremy Frame.
Ready? So we've taken advantage of some of these warmer days. We had, guy on vacation, so we took all the plow equipment off his truck and used that to haul some material while he was gone. Didn't need to plow with it, so why not? We also had the Hanson or Heidelberg haul in 2 loads of medium stone fill. Large limestone boulders, they beat our trucks up pretty good when we haul them, so it's sometimes better to pay somebody else to haul it in.
Be different, though.
Yeah. So just been patching some potholes, we've got the mower tractor out. Starting to do some brush trimming on some roads that we're gonna be doing some ditching on here early this spring. So I had to do a ditch line and shoulder repair on south of Bald Hill at the Johnson Hill intersection. Had 2 cars one morning, both go into that ditch, and in the process of being removed by the tow truck, it got damaged pretty good. So we actually used some clay fill material that we had and lined the bottom of the ditch to bring the elevation up so it wasn't quite so deep, and then armored that with some Gabion stone to keep it from washing away. And we've been doing a lot of work in the shop, trying to get some end plates made for the new grader, which we use when we're doing grader paving. Help maintain basically the material within the grader as we move the blade back and forth angles. And this is kind of a pain for us because the shop's a little on the crowded side. In order to work in there, I've got to pull 2 trucks out during the day so we can work, and then at the end of the day, pull the grader back out so I can pull 2 trucks back in. So this leads me to, at some point, we need to, it would be nice to start looking into doing something with that building. The building was built in 1958, so it's 66 years old, and it hasn't had anything done to the outside other than a new roof. And the inside is getting really bad too. Yeah,
That's horrendous.
you close the door when you're walking in, and the whole wall.
Yeah,
shakes.
it's rough. I noticed that.
Appreciate you putting up with it all these years.
Was only like a 25-year-old or 25-year life building when they put it up, correct?
Yeah.
Oh, then it doesn't need to be replaced for another 5 or 10 years.
And again, what was the original
It's
construction date?
75, it should.
What's that?
The original construction date?
It's 1958.
58.
Yeah,
I know how old it is.
it's just like new.
Yeah.
Snow removal.
Yesterday.
Been a light month where you're only out nine times with the full fleet, and one run where I had to call 2 trucks in on President's Day, the holiday, just for some drifting. So we've met our requirement with OGS for our 50% amount. I did some numbers last week. We're at, well, with the run we made today and yesterday, we're at 39 trips this year since January 1st. Which is about half of what the total years worth of trips is. And we're somewhere around 700, 800 tons of material used for the year, which is pretty good. The buildings actually have more material in them now than we started out with, so. So the new F-550 has been delivered. Which leads me to asking you guys for a motion to declare the 2016 F-550 as surplus, so I can list that with Auctions International.
I'll make that motion so we can sell the 2016 550. Is there a second?
Terry seconds.
Those in favor?
Aye.
It is done.
Okay, so that's. After talking to some of my other highway superintendent colleagues, that's something that they do. We haven't typically done that before in the past, whether it's right or wrong, I don't know, but.
We've got a record of it.
Right.
Yep.
Mhm.
Very good.
I'd have the windshield replaced on the brand new pickup truck. was a stone got flung up and cracked it, which is another issue we were having with our salt deliveries is there was, and several of them, we were getting, 1/2 inch to 5/8 size stone, limestone mixed in with the salt.
Is that because the trucks were hauling limestone before they were hauling salt?
The excuse from from Cargill was that the salt was being scooped off a gravel pad. So the loader operator was going in too deep, digging into the gravel pad, but sometimes. You get that with American rock salt too, is sometimes, you get a limestone layer mixed in with the salt layer when they're actually mining it. But this was a few of the loads that we got delivered, they had quite a bit of stone in it. So we've had an incident one morning when we were doing a plow run with a resident, and I had to have the state police come out and file a report with them to protect us and to also to start a paper trail with this resident because we've had multiple issues with him and the mowing tractor. So at this point, any involvement with him is gonna be done through the police department, so it's on record. And then we also had the incident on Kratzu Hill Road with the illegal dumping, where the police were involved in that as well. And at this point, I still haven't heard if they found out who was responsible for that. But they've given me the all clear to clean the mess up, so provided I can get something lined up with Casella at the landfill, we'll try and start that tomorrow.
Who pays for that?
We will.
Up front, but you're gonna keep all the records.
Yep,
Okay,
I'll keep a record of the time, the equipment time. Fuel will get from here to the landfill, how much it costs to dump at the landfill.
Yep.
So if they do actually find this person, we can go after,
Yeah, give us
Transfer
a
the
nice
cost.
turnkey number.
right?
Yep.
great, thank you.
That's all I got.
Thank you for that report. ZBA will be meeting in 2 days. I think there are 3 or 4 things on the agenda. 3, excellent. And Terry,
I will try to be brief.
I'll help.
So we only had 4 weeks of ice cover on the lake this year. And just so people know, 15, 20 years ago, we used to have 12 to 15 weeks of ice cover. This will have a profound impact on the aquatic ecosystem. I'm looking at Kate, she's not paying attention.
Oh, yeah, I am.
So the first thing I expect to happen is curly leaf pondweed normally comes up in late May, peaks in mid-June and dies off in late June. I expect a bumper crop of curly leaf pondweed early, much more dense, and probably true of the aquatic vegetation in itself.
Mhm.
But 4 weeks of ice cover versus 12, let's say,
Mhm.
it's just profound. I mentioned at our February meeting that the Outlet Creek had shale deposits again. I did a little more research. I've got that in there. We had a 2-inch rain event in the last week of January. And if you look at the lake level graph below it, right immediately after, the lake level stopped going down. And it is still not going down.
Mhm.
So it isn't excessively high right now. The lake is 5 to 6 inches high. It's not a problem. The problem is, I also went to my favorite weather history website. The average precipitation at the Honeywell Lake wastewater treatment plant for March and April is 6 inches of rain. In 2023, we got 6.5 inches of rain, normal. You know how high the water was by your house, right?
Oh, it was awful. Yeah,
But we got an average amount of rain
right,
in March and April.
right,
So,
right. It's because of the creek.
so who knows? We might not get any rain, we might get 10 inches of rain,
Right.
but the potential for an issue is there. And where we're at, the town of Richmond met with the DEC last Wednesday. And this will keep going until the town of Richmond gets a permit to mitigate the banks of Mill Creek. It's called the Mill Creek Master Plan.
Okay, good.
And town of Richmond requested that I write a letter of support, which I did. And the response I got is we expect to declare the Mill Creek Master Plan Phase 1 complete very soon. But you don't celebrate until you have the permit in your hand.
Mhm.
Much more time critical. Town of Richmond had to request their third emergency permit in the last 3 years to remove shale out of the outlet creek. I have also made an appeal, and so has the town of Richmond. DC has not responded. So that shale's got to come out of there. Or as soon as we get major rain events, whether they're in March and April or May or June, doesn't matter. If that shale doesn't come out of there, we're gonna go back to very high lake levels.
I understand that.
So that is the story there. Well, I'll just pause for a minute. Any questions about that? Town of Richmond is doing everything they can. I'm trying to add assistance. We're getting positive responses, but they haven't issued the permits.
And at the county level, whenever Daryl brings something like that up and it comes up, they've got our support.
Yep. But it's being worked on. And what I'm providing them is hard data because the DEC is data driven. They like data.
Okay.
CYA.
Yes. Well, it's more than that. The DEC does not approve of dredging creeks and rivers.
Right.
Generally speaking, they're opposed. It is a principle. Their philosophy, yeah, I'll just leave it at that. They don't like to issue permits for dredging. Betsy Landry told me last Friday that last week she got a draft contract for the boat cleaning station. It will take 6 to 8 weeks for the county to go back and forth with the state to negotiate the T's and C's of that contract.
We approved it last week. We approved it last cycle.
Oh, you did?
Yes, it's already been done. So we're
When
all
did
set.
you approve it?
The last board meeting, it was approved at PEQ.
Well, then I take that, well, no. The county approved it,
Yes.
approved the DEC draft contract.
Yes.
Well, then I take that back. So as soon as the state accepts it,
It's gonna go through. We're very confident.
then it'll get ordered.
Yes.
And I brought it up in February. I included the flyer. The annual roadside cleanup day is Saturday, April 20th. So you've all got the flyer twice, I think. So that is my update.
Okay, thank you. Assessor report was filed, and Holly was very helpful in determining those roads are actually owned by the town.
They are,
Yes, all three of them.
okay,
What roads are those?
just the.
It's in her report,
Yeah,
So
Lawrence
the
Hill,
encore needs to be adjusted.
correct, and the zoning maps.
Good to know.
Yeah, well, that's, yes.
For those that don't have the report in front of them, though, what are the three roads?
it's Lawrence Hill Road Extension, Hayward Extension, and Uthi belong to the town of Canadice.
Thank you.
And as Ted said, that was his understanding when he bought the property. So it was a different name,
What was?
Hayward, I believe. Hayward's.
Oh, right.
Yep.
Hayward Extension.
Yes.
There's, yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
correct. Yeah. Yep. So her report is accurate to the best of my knowledge, so it's good to have good research and good backup.
So I have a question about the town cemeteries.
Okay, we're coming up. Yep.
John O'Connor, my understanding was he places the flags on the veterans' graves. Is he gonna continue to do that, or do we need someone?
Well, it's the it's
it
a
the
Legion
Legion
action.
that
That's a
does it?
Legion function.
Okay.
Yes, it wasn't an
Okay.
official town function.
Thank
So
you.
the veterans take care of the veterans as part of their
Good to hear.
code of honor. Yes.
Thank you.
And speaking of, maybe I'll go under, hit that later.
Okay.
On the cemeteries. Water district operations.
So we have the February water quality report. It is 50,000 gallons difference from last year. It's actually a smidge higher. And what this is very normal. And the 50,000 gallons I would associate with the new hookups. So we're good.
Thank you for that report.
Mhm.
Just one last thing with the assessor report. Again, we do have an opening for BAR, so I'd like to just put that in the minutes. Board of Assessment Review.
It's in a report, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, it is, but it's just someone who didn't read the report, like you were saying.
It's
I'm
also
sorry.
on the website,
Yes, it is.
and it's
But no
also
one-
been in the penny saver.
But
And
no
it's
one mailed it.
coming, the
but no one
deadline,
mailed
the deadline is March 13th.
Yeah, but nobody looks at the website.
Some people.
Nobody looks at the minutes.
I do.
You put that comment on purpose.
Exactly. She tries to see if she can catch me.
Moving right along, financial report for December has been submitted. The town books are closed. There is one or two areas that we might want to just look at before we approve that report.
Okay.
And so if anyone sees something, feel free to let us know, but we're just gonna just take a look at a couple figures on the December report. And we'll be getting once that's finalized, then we'll be getting the January, February, maybe March report.
So are you gonna hold off asking us to approve this report?
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
I'd rather.
Okay, that's great.
There's a small anomaly, a few $1,000s, I just wanted to put up.
Mhm.
Thank you. Unfinished business. I'm pleased to report that I did not give up on the request by the Highway Department. We were denied by New York State DOT for a speed limit reduction on County Road 37 by the Barnes. We have an audience with the Senator's office and DOT, and Jeremy and I are going to zoom in, and we'll be well prepared to plead our case to reduce the speed limit. Any comment on that, Jeremy? And I thank you for participating.
Putting together data to present. We're gonna zoom in, or we're gonna actually go to.
They want us to zoom in. Originally, they want us to zoom in.
Okay,
Yep, that's the email says.
okay.
One less trip to Canada, I'm okay.
Yeah, so it isn't necessarily a speed limit reduction. The request was to move the reduction sign from 55 to 40, which is right at the driveway to the Barnes, further south around the corner. And luckily, it hasn't happened yet, but one of these days,
Somebody's gonna get it.
somebody's gonna get it pulling out of our driveway, especially in a plow truck where the nose of that plow is 10 feet off the front of the truck, and I mean, you have to creep out there in order to be able to see. And I know it's just the same as we tell residents that ask for a speed limit reduction on their road. It's only as good as the enforcement, but
Mhm.
it's a little safety measure when you're supposed to be doing 40 miles an hour, 200 feet further down the road, but you're not when you hit us.
Do you have a picture of that?
Of,
The plow in the road as you?
I was gonna
take a
actually
look?
take a picture
should.
of it sitting inside of the truck.
You
looking
should.
South
Yeah,
as to the zero visibility.
Picture's worth 1,000
Maybe get
words.
somebody a truck that's like coming around. the corner,
Exactly,
Right.
So they can see how far out. they are.
exactly.
It really is,
No,
especially in a Zoom.
That would be smart.
Yeah,
Yeah,
from the,
We talked about that.
yeah.
Good, thank you. Yeah, so fingers crossed, of course, we won't hear anything for a bit,
Months.
but certainly we'll ask, if you know, how long will this take? Can you decide today? Will you decide?
Right.
You know? So, excellent. So the county assisted us with an RFP for the Jersey Hill Road Engineering Study to help us get a long-term plan for what are we gonna do with Jersey Hill Road long-term. So once we have that in place, then we can look at what kind of reserves would be needed and so forth going forward. So it's a process, but Ontario County's doing a dynamite job supporting us.
Is there grant funding for work like that?
It's limited, but we've sort of reached out, and depending on what and how we do it, we have talked to Megan Webster about it, and there's some other pots of money available.
The, I did speak with Soil and Water last summer, had them look at that, the one area concern up near County Road 37. And, you know, just off the top of her head, she, you know, that's gonna be $150,000-$200,000 project.
Mhm.
And they would be able to help us get the same 75-25% grant for that. But in order to do so, we'd have to have engineering already done, we'd have to have, you know, a cost analysis, that sort of thing.
Okay,
So we're setting ourselves up as best we can for those efforts.
excellent.
Yep.
Okay,
Okay, and looking forward to that. Just one thing I put in there is, you know, the governor did put out an ultimatum for the counties to finally, who are not .gov, and there's still some counties, only 62 counties, but incredibly, not every county is .gov. And it's time for our town to go that way, and looks like we're gonna get there. Our supplier, North Shore, seems to be pretty confident they can get that done for us. So that's, again, it's cybersecurity. We're gonna roll out some training, and we've got some other things that need to happen. We discussing that more going forward. Other, let's see, new business authorization to execute the Sheba contract.
motion to approve.
Terry seconds.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, thank you. I did mention earlier, we now have New York class. I initiated that, so we have use of funds. It gives us much more liquidity, and it's right now it's the same interest rate. We don't know where the interest rates are going to be in the future, however. It's just a great way for the town to manage money. And the nice thing is with the sub accounts, we can keep the interest tracked in ADA and water. And if we have additional districts and pots of money, that's where they'll be. And I've already got reserves for new highway shed. A spot to park them.
Mhm.
For a highway shed in the Jersey Hill Reserve. Did you see it, Jared? So, next one is, Deputy Supervisor Archstad has agreed to help us out with the, fence that needs to be done around the cemetery. So one thing, I took a seminar, Association of Towns, and we need to have a fence around that property.
Why?
It's state law. Good question. So it's important to know the law. And the more I'm into this, I go, oh, that's a law. So, and then not certain about Tibbles Road and Bald Hill, but at least or our other two cemeteries, but right now we're gonna look at the Canadice Hollow. Needs to be done.
And this is like 6-foot chain link. Is this like a real fence?
Yes.
Interesting.
6 foot.
Well, no, I don't know about 6 feet. I'm thinking maybe 4. I don't think 6
It's,
is,
I was thinking,
6 is,
well, I'm gonna talk and find out what's the cheapest fence we can put around it.
There you go.
Do you need a chain link or can you put, is it cheapest to put up the plastic
Split rail.
split rail fence? I mean, we don't.
a low maintenance, a lower
Not your
non-maintenance.
snow fence is called.
What's that? Orange snow fence.
Plastic, yeah, plastic
Orange
snow
snow
fence,
fence.
yeah.
Yes, and yeah, the town of Canadice put the You got it. Here's what not to do. Here's the town of Canadice. They had the model short-term rental, but not the model. fence.
Right, right.
But
So that's just the cheapest fence we can have put around there. With the gate. So they can get in and out, or to keep the people in or keep the people out.
Well, big enough for. 'em all.
What's the purpose of this fence? My main-
you can, I can give you a link to the New York State law. You can take a peek at it. You're more than welcome to.
What's your take?
Vandalism is one of the issues.
And also, critters, just, it's a perimeter. It's a perimeter. So it's very clear.
Right.
Somebody's walking around. Whatever, they hit the fence, they stop. I can't think to the state, but. It's.
What is the last-
It's an abandoned.
Keep the spirits in or.
Yeah.
No.
No, no.
Nothing.
No.
It's a physical barrier.
No,
And I
right.
apologize.
When was the last time someone was buried?
It's been a while. In fact, the other two cemeteries, there's burials in the 1900s, but the last one was 1870s, 1880s. I haven't looked at the whole inventory. I'm
Really?
looking at stones, but yeah,
1800s.
yes.
And is this all three of these cemeteries that applies? Tibbles,
It
Bald
does
Hill?
actually, but right now we're
Canadice
gonna
Valley.
address the one that we have access to. Through town road.
Cause two of them, we do not have access.
We're not
to.
maintaining those. Someone else's. I wanna have those discussions with those, it's within their property.
Oh.
Yeah, they're nice enough and I don't wanna rock that.
Temple Cemetery, I don't believe is maintained at all.
Okay, so this is my next, so for fun, why don't, we could take a ride out there. Isn't it, don't we have to go through someone's property to get at it? Or maybe that's something,
Yes,
maybe you or myself or Joe and myself go over there because. It's town's responsibility, and if it hasn't been, then we gotta include it in our next mowing contract.
no, there's no mowing. It's completely wooded.
The Tibble Cemetery.
Yeah,
Oh, God,
it's completely wooded.
why am I just hearing about this now?
No mowing involved.
Yeah, and this is interesting because I was on the Historical Society tour for the one that's over like Abbey Road.
Yes,
There's no fence there.
right. But it,
Victor's, the ones in Victor's that I'm thinking of, the little ones, the Tomlinson Cemetery. That's where some of our, ancestors are. There's no fence
but
there.
it's someone taking care of it,
Yes.
then it's not abandoned.
Oh.
abandoned cemetery. I'm sorry.
Got it.
Yes, so it's
Got
abandoned.
it.
So here's the thing though, but if it's within 5 years of being abandoned, there's state monies to shore it up. If there's less than 3 people on a board, New York State has resources to prop them up, give them bookkeeping, give them whatever they need to keep it going because it's less money
Money.
for the
Town.
town,
Yeah,
for the state.
yeah.
So they will shore those up. So now that I'm aware of these things, so it's easier to take care of it now than in. And I just, there's worse than when I went over to.
Thank you,
Canada.
Mark.
There was trees and limbs on the stones last year and they were cut off, but they'd probably be bigger now. They'd be 3 inches in diameter.
Yeah.
Tree growth is different nowadays. Every year they grow faster.
It's been
So have you walked
been
there?
probably 5 or 6 years since I've been in there,
Okay,
but it's in the woods. It's the only way I can describe it.
and if that one, if I'm not mistaken, there's hundreds in there. Is that correct? Which one's
That's not
bigger?
very big.
So Bald Hill's different than the
This-
Tibbles.
Yeah.
So one of them I
The
looked,
Tibble Cemetery is actually on Ross Road.
okay, what's the one that was part of, was it Purcell's farm? The family farm. Anyways,
Yeah, I'm not aware of that.
I've-
I'm not aware of that.
I get in my spare time, I'm gonna do this. All right. Next week, this week. Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you for your help with that first fence. There might be another fence.
Yeah, well,
Could tell them.
it'll be a little bit. I won't even answer next month, I'll tell you that.
No, no,
I'm going away.
so am I. How long you going for?
3 weeks, how about you?
I'm going for 3 weeks. No, I wish. No, I can't. A little over a week. 3 weeks. I gotta get these jobs.
Nice. Where are you going?
Starting in Santiago, Chile and going up to LA.
Nice.
Thanks. Awesome. I just gotta make myself a note, extra cemetery to mow.
Possibly.
Well, better to find that out now. Thank you for bringing that up.
We always possibly.
Yeah, get ready.
So then maybe I got some privilege of the floor after. Approval of the bills.
I had one question.
Yes.
The Neptune 360 bill.
Mhm.
Yes.
It's TI sales. We have to replace the water billing system. They're moving to a cloud-based
Okay.
system. Eileen was made aware last year. And I was actually talking to Christopher earlier tonight. I'm putting together a plan. So that we can go through it and make sure that the water billing gets out on time for the next 2 quarters.
I didn't know what, I mean, because it showed training and then the initial setup and
Yeah.
ship direct from. the
I asked if there was any way to reduce the training cost, and I was told that it's a one-time charge and that it's really good training.
To the also.
It is an annual subscription for the service that we will be on. And
Yeah.
so again, Eileen and I made sure that the meter count was accurate. They had, I think it was 20 or 30 more meters than we show. So I got that corrected.
Our meter reader is compatible with that too, which was a question that was brought to me.
So we were told that we have to bring our own device to the party.
I'm talking about our belt clip.
The
Right.
belt clip is still gonna be
It's
used that they
compatible,
have.
But you still have to have the app or a device to be able to use the app.
Oh, okay, so we still have to buy the iPad.
Yes,
Thank you.
it
Okay.
won't be on their phone anymore. It'll be on the iPad,
Exactly,
which it shouldn't be on their personal phone anyway.
that's correct. That's another issue that we are in the process of resolving.
Approval of the bills. There was discussion. Did you vote? Because I have so
We
moved.
didn't get a motion in a second yet.
So move.
I'll second.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, abstain, that carries. Thank you. One small thing, privilege of the floor. We did approve that septic variance, that resolution, Eileen,
Yes,
just making sure. Thank you. And looking to the board for just some guidance. AED for the town hall highway department. Do we have one for highway? Would it be a good idea to have one for highway and town hall?
I thought we had to have one.
AED?
Yeah,
What's an AED?
automatic.
Automatic.
Should be waiting.
Yeah,
We don't, so
I thought we had to.
so did I.
Just like
So-
the fence around the cemetery or something. We had
Well,
to have.
So there's things I keep, I have some medical background, my certification runs out in April. Who's certified for CPR and life-saving measures?
Don't need any of that.
Right, well, I understand that, but I'm just saying, it's not a bad idea for someone to have CPR that's in the highway department.
you
Did-
don't have to have training for the AED
No.
device?
no,
No,
you don't.
That's a separate discussion, but
It's, you don't need CPR training. I mean, you just take it off the wall and it tells you what to do.
Okay.
Exactly.
There is training available.
Oh, I know there is, because we put our people through them all the time.
Yeah.
My other question is annual inspections. I believe that they are required.
You have to look to make sure that the light is on.
It starts beeping,
Right.
okay? And so we were told by our fire marshal to do an annual inspection,
It's just making sure it doesn't beep.
right?
Make sure the pads are up to date.
Is that what it is?
You're just making sure the pads have. it's clear.
They come in, we have, 3 of them, 1 in each location.
so it's your understanding, we should have one in each facility.
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
So board's comfortable going out and making sure we have these in a proper place.
Yeah.
So they're accessible and people know about it.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with the public,
being aware.
yes, I think it's not a bad thing, because you only have 5-6 minutes before
Well, I think the other
Actually
question is
starts to
gonna be,
get-
what about the court building?
Good question.
You have people in there at night and they do not have access to the town hall.
I say, they don't have access to the town hall, but
Well.
Yes, they
it-
do.
It's. key
Yes, they
down.
do.
Yeah, they'd have to run over here.
that's okay.
Okay. Okay,
I mean, it wouldn't, it was
One-
that big of a.
one can serve both buildings. Okay,
So we just keep it,
Well, I'm sure that
we could almost keep it in the vestibule, like in that first. It'd get too cold there. If we get too cold, that was my question.
the judges have access to this building, must have.
Yeah, they don't have
They
to shut
do
the
it,
alarm
the-
off for that.
bookkeeper does as well.
Come grab it.
Right, yeah.
It's an emergency, the alarm goes off. You can get more help.
Oh,
You get
yeah,
more help.
that's true.
So, I mean, it's a good
Okay.
thing.
Okay,
Yeah, actually. Yeah, yeah, it's an automatic call. Yeah, come in, boom, alarm goes off, boom, perfect. You don't have to make a phone call.
Right.
Brilliant.
Well, you might still want to make a phone call.
You can make a phone call, but they're gonna be
Yeah.
the cops and the fire.
We'll see who comes first. Well, they're all, everyone's got that certification. They know what to do.
So the county
Your
did
daughter.
offer,
Okay.
the county did offer free training several years ago that I took. It was very thorough, didn't cost me anything. And it certified me for first aid. Recently, I reached out to see if the county, they wanted suggestions of what classes they could offer. So I suggested that.
Absolutely.
And they referred me to somebody in the fire department to offer it. So it wasn't, to me, that's not going to, I don't know, but that's not going to be the same. They wanted suggestions and then they sent me someplace else. So I don't know.
So
But-
maybe reach back out to Stephen Harloff.
No, he retired.
Or
Jeff
what's
Harloff.
Sherman's replacement? I forgot his name.
Isn't his name Michael or something like that?
Decided to go one of those meetings. Okay, all right, so
I mean, I
Uh,
can send an email to him too, but to me, that was a really thorough training.
absolutely.
And everybody who, it was like half a day at least, and everybody who attended
Did
left
Sherman,
certified.
did Sherman do it himself?
No, he was there, but he had professionals doing it.
Yeah, someone who's certified trainers, okay.
And they had several options for classes, so you weren't limited to one morning or one day or one afternoon, whatever.
Well, I think it's something, I think it's never, always a good idea for more than one person to have that training within each building for sure. And I like your recommendation on the AEDs. Other
Michael Flatt.
That's correct. Geez, I couldn't come up with his name. Thank you. Other privilege of the floor.
I just
You-
had one thing.
Sure.
Go ahead.
From training, they did announce today that, the first quarter of 2025 is when they're gonna release the new, code cycle. So I just wanted to prepare the town for that as far as the cost associated with the paper copies.
So we will be adjusting our fee schedule well ahead of time. Yeah, so that's something, maybe start looking at our fee schedule in November.
Yeah.
Then next year, when are they gonna release that data?
They said today, between January 1st and December 31st.
Of this year.
No, of next
25.
next year.
25. But they're predicting the first quarter, which is more than what we've gotten the last 6 months.
Right, but I know we didn't.
When do the new FEMA maps get approved?
Who knows?
Okay,
They're not approved.
They,
They're not approved yet.
but they also impact code.
No, they don't affect code. They change from the old FEMA map to the new one.
there's old people, 1973 FEMA maps right back there.
Those are the actually 83, but they're the ones that we're using.
Right, yes.
Yeah, and I didn't get a straight answer with that either. They said it could take 2 months or 2 years.
Depends on how they're contested and all that, because there were some areas that,
Town of Richmond is objecting with all their might. So there's still dialogue going on there.
Good.
and I said it on some of those, but Daryl's Supervisor Marshall has it, but I supported them anytime I went to those meetings, but right now I'm not going to those meetings.
It happens when it happens.
Will our town
Can't really
certainly be highly.
So Chris, you asked me to remind you,
Oh, yes.
is there anything else you wanted to discuss here?
What was it? Oh, yes. I did apply for this training for the cybersecurity grant program. And it's funny because here I am, they just sent me an email and it's for fiscal year 2022.
Hmm.
And then when I filled everything out, it said, congratulations, you're now on the fiscal year 22. So that was confusing, but that's our state working for us. So I will attend that March 13th Zoom, and thank you for reminding me. And I believe, did you say you were gonna?
I'm signed up for I think it's March 28th.
Yes, I'm on vacation that second one, 27th, I think it is somewhere. in there.
Whenever
Yeah,
it is,
yeah.
yeah.
So stay tuned on this, but Nymer's also has some training in this area as well, and the county gives us all kinds of training on this.
Mhm.
We're gonna migrate to two-factor authentication. Does Cloud Permit have two-factor authentication?
By request that. But I'll,
Since it's a new platform, I highly encourage it. It's the way to go.
Find
It's
out
to
if there's a
protect.
cost.
and I don't want to. Just because. Credit card numbers being involved.
What-
potentially.
What I liked about New York class that I just signed up for 10 days ago, it wasn't even an option.
Mhm,
It's two-factor authentication.
mhm,
And I was, oh wow, it's already included.
mhm.
Yeah, do it. And with CNB, when I approve payroll, it's two-factor authentication. But otherwise, it's not, just depends on what it is. So any other questions? That,
No, my note back to you on the MFA is you'd have to ask each vendor. And I would honestly start with Williamson Law Books.
we asked them for the correct contracts that the Association of Towns. Late February, I don't know if they've gotten here yet, but
Okay,
we've asked them for a few things.
I can call the owner again if you would
I
like.
talked to the owner, oh yeah, absolutely. And
Okay.
you ask him how those contracts that we spoke about are.
Okay, I can do that.
We might remember.
Okay.
And his female assistant in her 50s was there,
Mhm.
his right-hand person,
Mhm,
you know,
mhm,
in a nice booth space,
mhm.
rather than end cap. Privilege of the floor is,
I make a motion to adjourn.
okay, John.
I second.
Those in favor? Aye.
second? Who seconded?
Mr. Mitchell,
Thank you.
excellent. Terry made the motion. I called him John just out of